President Obama will be back on the road next week, meeting with thousands of union workers in Detroit. The trip illustrates a key challenge for the president entering into the 2012 campaign, addressing frustrated supporters hit hard by the economy, among them African Americans. Kasim Reed is the mayor of Atlanta, and he joins me now. Mayor Reed, you probably don't need a lesson in the numbers, but for our viewers, I want to put them out there. The African American community has been disproportionately hit by this great recession. The unemployment rate in July among African Americans was nearly 16%, among whites 8%, so 2 to 1 of that. There's the Pew Center's wealth gap study, which shows white wealth sitting at $113,000 versus African American wealth at $5,677 a household. White wealth 20 times that of African Americans, and African American wealth has dropped 53% in 4 years. So my question to you, Mayor Reed, this criticism that's coming from some African American leaders at the president, and it's not harsh criticism, but it's frustrated criticism, that he's lacked some focus on this problem. Do you agree with that criticism?
I do not. I believe the criticism couldn't be more unfair. I believe the White House should spend more energy having conversations with leaders in the African American community, but black people were going to be disproportionately impacted by this great recession at all times. And as you know, even when unemployment numbers are favorable, the African American unemployment number is always higher. I believe the president has done a significant amount. I think when he helps in the Pell Grant space to remove banking fees so more kids can go to college, that impacts African American people. I believe when you save the automobile industry, I happen to know a lot of African American people in Detroit who were impacted by that result. I think when you improve financial services and reduce the amount of fees associated with credit, that helps African American people. We do need to acknowledge that it is more difficult for this president, because of the historical nature of his presidency, to have the kind of conversation that many in our community would like to have, focused solely on African American people. But I hope that that's a political trap that the president won't walk into.
Oh, I was just going to say, Mary, you brought up the issue that you hear from other supporters of the president saying, you know, he can't look like he's somehow he's afraid of looking like, if he focuses on African American issues, he's favoring African Americans over working class whites in the Midwest and in the industrial Midwest. And you say you don't want him falling into that trap. What do you mean?
What I mean is, Chuck, you know, if the president were to start speaking directly to African Americans about what he's doing for them, what he has done for them as the first African American president, that during a general election campaign, that could have very adverse results. And I believe that black people understand that. I think they understand it well. But we are human. People do feel frustration. But to say that this president hasn't been focusing on helping all Americans, but specifically African Americans, I think is wholly false. And I'd also like to talk to my friends in my own community who are raising these issues to make the point that if you weaken President Obama in the black community, you seriously hamper his chances of being reelected. A small depression among the African American electorate could be devastating for this president, and I think that black people understand that. And I'd also like for folks on the other side of this conversation to tell me who the alternative is that's going to do such a better job for black people. Will it be Michelle Bachmann? I mean, sometime will it be Mitt Romney? Will it be Rick Perry? Are those the individuals who are going to feel so much more deeply about how African American people? So it's time to start having a conversation when we compare the policies of President Obama to the alternative. We've been comparing this president to the Almighty for long enough. In just a little while during this election, we're going to have an alternative.
You know, Mr. Mayor, you brought up this communication issue. You believe the White House just hasn't had the conversations? Have they not been, for instance, with the Congressional Black Caucus? What I hear is not having enough meetings with them, frankly, in the same way that you would have meetings with other key leadership groups in Congress.
Chuck, I think that's a fair criticism. And I do believe that the White House is going to have a number of tough conversations and really lay out in detail why the president made the decisions that he has made. But I do agree and believe that that's a fair criticism. But on the facts, I would push back pretty hard for this president.
All right, Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed. I know you were supposed to be in Washington for the unveiling of the.
We were so disappointed.
Of the MLK. Do we have a new date yet, or have they not said?
We don't at this time, Chuck. We're looking forward to it, and I look forward to coming to Washington for the unveiling of Martin Luther King's historical statue, an Atlanta native.
Well, we will have you on set then, because I know we were supposed to have you on set today. Mr. Mayor, thanks for coming on the Daily Rundown.